All right, good morning. Here we go. On to stage 14. We're finally into the high mountains. Should be an interesting day. Although right now it seems to, although we're not on to the Tourmalet yet. I think it's the Tourmalet they're climbing. What are they climbing? Yeah, the Tourmalet. One of the fabled climbs of the tour. 80 sometimes we've been up the mountain. Only 3 like today where we actually finish atop. But we're on the climb before that, which is a Cat 4 climb, still a big climb. Excuse me, not a Cat 4, Cat 1. But I thought I'd get this one in because a former winner of the tour, who's not been having a great tour this year, but never said he was here to win, Vincenzo Nibali. Actually, Nibali won the year that I produced my book of the tour, called Book to Tour. You can find that on the website, still available. Crowd-funded book, all about the Tour de France, with all these paintings from that year in it. So Nibali won that year. Actually, people who backed the book at the highest amount got copies of the book signed by Nibali. Incredibly kind offer on his part. But so, Nibali, though, is off the front of the group today, looking to make this a stage win to validate his tour, as it were, for this year. Joining him right now, another guy who was expected to do well and has sort of dropped off the leaderboard, Eleanor Zakharin, a Russian rider, riding for the Katusha team. Katusha Alpecin. Apparently Alpecin gets really annoyed with race commentators if they don't include their name when they refer to the team. So I would want to do the same. And then the third rider bridging across, I'm not altogether sure who that is, but riding for Sunweb. So these 3 were hoping to get away on the climb of the Cat 1 climb and get a head start on everyone before we get to the Tourmalet. And the advantage is an advantage, right? So as you can see, this time I actually started out with the one of the spectators in their car parked on the side of the road, rather than starting with the cyclist, because I wanted to get that sighted, get that positioned, so you can see the riders coming around the fans on the side of the road. Today was something a little interesting in that there was a protest, and so they delayed the start of the race, not holding the race, but holding the neutral for longer until they got around the protesters protesting the opening of a factory that the farmers felt were going to hurt their food production. Very peaceful, but they were going to try to block the road, so they got enough gendarme up to keep them in under control. And nothing came of it, but they kept the neutral just in case the protesters did something and interfered with the racers when they were going at race speed. We'll call this starting his effort. So there's the line work for it. We'll switch over to color now. There's very little yellow in this one, just a little bit of gold on Nimli's helmet. little piping. Of gold as well. So then we'll switch on to the flesh tones. And as they climb, and it's hot. They haven't hit the real heat wave yet that is hitting a good chunk of the south of France. It has been horrible earlier this month in Europe. It's not exactly
That's just awful.
now it's not exactly great here in the States in Richmond. In fact, it's quite warm today. I think it's a good day to stay inside and paint the tour. So flesh tones in. Let's get a little shadow color, just a little bit darker, a little more red, a little less yellow to get some of the shadow. Give a little more dimensionality. All right. Now we'll switch to the red. And because I laid that flesh tone in, I want to be a little careful. In fact, I'm going to change my mind. Get that red off my brush. And do the pink of the spectator over here. Guess he forgot which race he was watching and wearing the color of the Giro's leader's jersey and not of the Tour's. That was just giving this a little time for the flesh to dry a little bit because there was a fair amount of water in that. Again, you need to think of those things. You need to, because if you go wet to wet, the colors can bleed. You get these little blooms of color going from one to the other, which can be great. I mean, you can certainly use that, as you've seen me in the past, float, particularly when doing the roadway, float some of that color and then move it with just the dirty brush. So, but you need to, in all things, maintain a certain amount of control. So now I can go up against the flesh tone and not have it move on me, not have it bleed. I get that nice sharp transition color. Again here, now that's just, that shadow is just created by more pigment, less water. And then we'll shift over to the maroon red, which I'm just using a little bit of my vermilion, some blue and a touch of red, giving this maroon of Katusha's secondary color. Clean the brush off and switch on to the next, the blues. I'm going to do the light blue first. It's a little risky. That's what that hesitation was about. But doing the light blue first of Katusha on their jersey. A little bit of the glass on the car parked on the side of the road, a reflection. Now we'll get the darker blue of Nibali's kit. Next we're going to use this ultramarine, mix it with some of the black, which of course, as we know, is not black in my case. So that's Nibali's shorts. Accent on his jersey and his helmet. And then I think we'll make this car, although this car is black in the video, we're going to just give it this blue tone. It's the advantage, as I tell people, and I know I've said it here before as well. No one's ever going to see your source material. They're only going to see your finished product. So sometimes I will change the color to make the image more interesting. Before I go to the black, I'll start the greenery on the hillside behind the riders, and that'll pop things a little bit more as well. You know, the complementary color, green to red, will help that red of these jerseys pop more. Your eye enjoys a pair of complementary colors. Your eye looks for that pair. So you get that contrast when you put complementary colors next to each other. You want to make red look more vibrant, put some green around it, and vice versa. So just, you can see I'm using the brush, so I'm making these short strokes, and that's giving, just by virtue of the puddling of the paint, some of the texture of the grass, of the hillock. And it gets a little bit variation in color here to give more of that illusion of the grass. Again, short little strokes, filling it in using the brush to create the blades of grass. Picking up a little more color, shifting over. So these works are all created using Richardson Art watercolors. These are that are just brilliant, bold colors. They are the St. Petersburg. I'll give the link to their website. I share all this work and write about what's happening in the tour on my blog, theartofcycling.blogspot.com. You also, on that, can follow through links to my website for each painting where you can purchase the paintings. Yes, they're all for sale. Sold a number of them so far. And international shipping is available, so if you're not watching this in the States and you want one, that's totally possible. So if you go to theartofcycling.blogspot.com, and you can just click through as you look at the paintings. There's one you want to have, and they do obviously sell. They are originals, clearly. First come, first serve, so if you see something you like, don't hesitate. So just about done with the grass, the grassy knoll. Those of you who know your U.S. history might get that reference. All right, now we're going to switch to the blacks, which again are this deep green and the vermilion mixed together at pretty much equal portions. Is a black that makes me quite comfortable. We'll start with the Sunweb Riders shorts. The hair of the spectator, and around we go, hitting the wheels of the vehicle. And so I hope you will subscribe if you like what you're seeing, because I will be doing, stage 14 out of 21 stages. So there will be a number more of these videos to go, and then hope you'll give it a like, give me a follow. You could use them because I need, or subscription actually, not a follow. I would love to get this page titled, and I need a few more followers to make that happen, or subscribers, excuse me, wrong word again. So I started this one, Starting the Effort is the title of this piece, really referring to the effort of the day, because this is the first of the two big climbs, and also the start of the effort, excuse me, of Nibali trying to win a stage. So there you go. Thanks for taking the time to look.